Hi, this is Kevin Thomas, and welcome to the At Home Film Festival. This week we're going to look at happy hookers, or maybe they're not all so happy. Is that a job you should be happy in? A lot of movies glamorize prostitution, like Pretty Woman here. We all love this movie, but basically she's a hooker, right? And although it's a classic, we also have Audrey Hepburn as a prostitute in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Did you know that was her job? So what other movies can we take a look at that either glamorizes prostitution or shows it in its true gritty state? And if you stick to the end, there's a movie that has a scene cut, or actually two scenes were cut, and it stars a major Hollywood star. Shocking. Oh, let's find out what it is. Let's take a look now. Men can be prostitutes too. I'm sure we all knew that. I would have done Midnight Cowboy, but it won an Oscar for Best Picture. But I always remember how much I loved Richard Gere in American Gigolo, which you could find on Paramount Plus right now. Gosh, this was super good. He was sexy. The musical score was great. It was gritty. There was a murder plot. You see his penis. There was great costumes. You see his penis. Oh, I think that's the scene where we see it. Well, let's be careful for that TV right now. Anyway, this was a really terrific movie. It showed the business of sex as well as just your own desires when you actually like someone that's paying for you. Really enjoyed this movie. I think you will too if you haven't already. It became a TV series recently. Didn't like that so much. But the movie from 1980 is terrific. Male prostitution also played a key role in the movie Boy Culture, which came out in 2006. And there was sort of a sequel to it in 2021. It costs a few dollars to rent here and there. It's often on Here TV. And it's got the ever-loving gay actor that we all respect, Daryl Stevens. But it's about a male young hustler that does it for the money, of course. I mean, who does it for fun? But his roommates get kind of entangled in his life of sexuality and clients. So that adds a very fun twist to this film. I really like this one too. It's a little forgotten. Ooh, look at that tongue. Anyway, you shouldn't forget it. You should watch Boy Culture. Find it now. Wait for that. Oh, damn it, they cut that scene. Darn it. Pretty Baby might also be a forgotten movie about prostitution. And this is really a terrific film. Susan Sarandon gives a bravura performance in this. And Brooke Shields plays her daughter. And they're both prostitutes because it takes place back in a period that's one of the few jobs women can have. Oh, this is really terrific. It's from director Louis Malle. It's well photographed. It's a beautifully told story, even though it is about prostitution. We see a young Keith Carradine there. Very, very wonderful. It costs a few dollars to rent, but if you want to be with a good prostitute, you got to spend the money. And I will say there's one scene super sensuous where Susan Sarandon is getting her picture taken. And back in those days, you powdered yourself up because it was very old fashioned. So she puts powder all over her body and she has beautiful breasts. And she licks her thumb and then she cleans off the nipple. Oh my God, I'm a gay man, but I feel arousal right now. Oh, ooh, look how pretty she is there. Oh, wow. Anyway, great movie. Oh, then we have Waterloo Bridge. Oh, it cost a few dollars to rent, but it's often on TCM. And this is the movie that Vivien Leigh made after Gone with the Wind. And although she plays a prostitute, it's very lush and romantic. She starts off as a ballerina, falls in love with a man in the war. He's presumed dead. She was supposed to marry him. She doesn't, so she left her job as a ballerina. The only thing she has to do in life is to sell herself to men. I'm sure she should have found another career. But this movie also reminds me that it's a remake of another movie called Waterloo Bridge. The other Waterloo Bridge came out in 1931, and you can find it on YouTube for free. And this is a pre-code movie, so it's grittier. When they did the Vivien Leigh movie, which I do prefer, but that's been toned down a little and romanticized because of the codes they had when making films. This movie really takes us in depth, as much as you can go in 1931, of her being a prostitute and all the trials and tribulations she goes through in that career. So this, of course, is a scene earlier in the movie when she was still in love with the man who goes to war. Then we have Irma la Douce with Shirley MacLaine in an Oscar-nominated performance. It's on the Criterion Channel right now when it leaves at the end of the month, which is in a few days. So why don't you watch it this afternoon, shall you? Or you could catch it on Tubi later. Interesting tale about the story where she plays a hooker in France who ends up developing a relationship with Jack Lemmon, and it's a comedy, so obviously it's not that gritty. But it was first a French film, and then it became a musical. Then it became a Broadway musical nominated and winning Tony Awards. But when they made the movie, the songs are all gone. But don't think that's weird or unique, because that's happened many a times. We've all seen Les Mis, right? Well, there was a Les Mis musical and non-musical. The source material went multiple ways. The Phantom of the Opera, there's versions where they're not singing the Phantom. Oh, don't forget, I can't sing. And even Hello, Dolly was first a play called The Matchmaker, so it's not unheard of. And this was well received. It's by Billy Wilder, his movies are mostly well received. So you should catch this film. And don't worry, if you don't like musicals, there are no songs. But there are songs in Miss Saigon, which you could find on Broadway HD. This is a sing-through musical, so they hardly ever just talk. They sing, sing, sing. Oh, God. This and Waterloo Bridge, by the way, are two of the Kevin Will Cry Ugly Tears shows. This is a doomed love story between a GI and a young woman in Saigon that fall in love, sing their hearts out, separated by war, separated by miles, but not from the heart. Oh, this show. If you've seen Madame Butterfly, this is sort of based upon that, and the setting has changed. Oh, wow, this is so good. And it's filmed. I love the way they've been doing a lot of things on Broadway HD and other channels. Even when you go to the theater for a Fathom event, they put a lot of cameras in the theater for one day and film it from every angle. So it's like watching a movie or show up close and personal like this was done. Oh, this is so terrific. Love this. Okay, now we're up to the movie that has cut scenes. Yes, guess what? The star is Barbra Streisand. Yes, the Owl and the Pussycat, which you could find for a few dollars to rent here and there. Now, she plays a hooker. Well, she doesn't say she's a hooker. She says she's only done that in emergency situations where she just needed the money. But it really is an odd couple story, very funny, with George Segal and Barbara playing a hooker or not, and a bookworm that end up having to spend the evening together due to circumstances beyond their control. Now, interesting tidbits for you to know is when this movie was filmed, Barbara had a topless scene. Yes, she did. And you used to be able to find that online, but it's totally gone. Barbara just said she didn't want people focused on her boobs. But there's another time where she uses the F word one time. And when the movie was such a hit and rated R because of the F word, they cut that out and made it PG. But you can't find the F word on DVD or streaming, but it really ruins the scene. I want to show you that scene with the cut and without the cut. Okay, let's go take a look. So anyway, here's George and Barbara. They're walking around. She's trying to better herself by learning more language. Of course, George is a bookworm, so he knows everything. So she's telling him that she got a book to help her educate herself. And then he's telling her how words are powerful.
How are you going to assimilate?
Assimilate?
Not bad, eh?
You and your vocabulary.
I got it at the corner apothecary.
The corner apothecary.
Pretty impeccable, huh?
It's very impressive.
I try and learn, I try and assimilate 5 new words a day. And that way I figure pretty soon I'll be able to talk as good as you. Wouldn't that be something?
It would be wonderful. It's always an advantage to be able to express yourself clearly.
And I think it would be good for me as an actress too, don't you think, right?
Yes, language is language is one of the primary tools of the actor's art.
Get rid of the four-eyed freak and we'll show you some
I guess that I could do a lot of things that I couldn't do before because I wasn't able to express myself succinctly, you know what I mean?
Succinctly.
Succinctly, yes.
Yes, remember that language is power.
I will, I remember that.
Sweetheart,
Would you,
Got something for
would you
me, yeah?
excuse me for a moment?
PG version, watch this.
I beg your pardon, boys, but, you are intruding on my privacy.
Okay, so they cut out the big scene. So now they have to run. Why would people chase her for being polite to say you're intruding on my privacy? She had just said words are power. She had just learned that words are power, but she didn't say anything harsh to these people. So why would they chase her? And the scene works so much better with words power unedited. Now let's look at that one now.
Remember that language is power.
So now here, language will be power in a minute in this unedited version, which you can't find anywhere. Here we go, same scene, but now the R-rated original version.
I beg your pardon, boys, but, you are intruding on my privacy, and I would appreciate it very much if you don't mind if you just fuck off.
See, that's words is power, but it's cut out and so stupid in the PG version, which is the one that streams, it's the one on TV. Now they have a reason to chase her, right? Let me know if you agree. Well, that's our show of the week. I hope you share and subscribe and come back next week and let me know what shows you think I missed that I should have included. As we leave, we're going to watch Anne Hathaway, who obviously was not a happy hooker, in Les Mis, where she won her Oscar. But, oh, what a performance. I feel you, Anne.